AAEC Estrella Mountain representing the state of Arizona.
You have 1 minute to review your cards. We are now holding a meeting of the AAEC Estrella Mountain FFA chapter. Mr. Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, Madam President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people, in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a title-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I must advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
There are 7 members and numerous guests present, Madam President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the AAEC Estrella Mountain FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented. Is there any new business?
Madam President,
Miss O'Brien.
I move that our chapter require that members wear FFA jackets at all regular meetings.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that our chapter require that members wear FFA jackets all regular meetings. Is there any discussion?
Madam President!
Ms. O'Brien.
I would like to express my agreement with this motion. As you know, we wear our FFA jackets to many career development events and just around the chapter. So by wearing them at all meetings, it'd be a great way to get members used to the jacket and more comfortable in wearing it. So I strongly urge a yes vote.
Madam President!
Ms. Tebow.
I encourage you all vote down this motion. By having us require that all of our members wear FFA jackets would mean that they would have to purchase them with their own money. I know some students who are also members of our chapter who struggle to even buy lunch, and this would not be fair for them financially. I encourage that you all join me in voting down this motion.
Madam President!
Mr. Decker.
I'd like to express the disadvantages of this motion. We should not pass this motion because the FFA jackets just are way too hot for our members. We live in a state in which highs can get all the way up to 120 degrees in the months of August and May, which we have our first and our last meeting during those times. So having to wear these jackets would just be way too hot and redundant for our chapter. I urge a no vote.
Madam President!
Ms. McKell.
I'm in strong agreement towards this motion. By having all of our members wear an FFA jacket, it really expresses our true colors and shows and represents our chapter because that's who we are. We are the FFA. So I strongly urge a yes vote.
Madam President!
Ms. Staub.
I agree with the previous speaker. As you all know, after every single one of our chapter meetings, we go out to lunch. If we go out to lunch and all of our members are wearing their FFA jackets, that will make it where people will ask questions about what is the FFA and what is agriculture to us, and we can explain and further educate the public on what FFA really is. I greatly urge that you all vote yes on this motion.
Madam President,
Mr. Knudsen.
I rise in disapproval with this motion. Our FFA chapter recently had a t-shirt contest where each member submitted designs to a t-shirt company, and whoever voted on what t-shirt was the best, they won. And we just got those t-shirts in, and if we were to have this, it would be much better because our students would be able to show their FFA spirit for the t-shirts that they voted on. So join me in voting down this motion.
Madam President,
Mr. Decker.
I move to postpone this matter until the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second!
It has been moved and seconded that we postpone this matter until the next regularly scheduled meeting. Is there any discussion?
Madam President!
Mr. Decker.
I'd like to express my favor towards this motion. We should postpone this until the next regularly scheduled meeting because we have the annual barbecue and auction coming up, and there's just way too much that we need to get ready for that barbecue and auction. So implementing this new rule for our entire chapter would just be too much of a hassle for our chapter officers to communicate to the rest of the members in our chapter. I urge a yes vote on the postpone.
I
Madam
rise to a
President!
question of privilege.
State your question.
May we please remove our jackets? It is far too hot in here.
Seeing as this is an official FFA function, your question of privilege is denied and your jackets must remain on. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Madam President!
Ms. McKell.
I'm in strong opposition towards this postpone. By postponing this matter to the next regularly scheduled meeting, it'd be putting more on our plate. Our chapter already has a list of activities that we need to go through and get over, so we need to decide on this here and now. I strongly urge a no vote.
Madam President!
Ms. O'Brien.
I would like to stress the benefits of this motion. By moving this to the next regularly scheduled meeting, it'd be a great way for students to learn more about it and to be more prepared to talk about it next week. They have finals coming up during this week, and they're much too stressed to worry about this. So join me in voting yes on this motion.
Madam President!
Mr. Knudsen.
I am in strong disagreement with this postponement. We have some of the greatest minds in our entire FFA chapter here in this room, and we can make a decision on whether or not we should be wearing official dress to our every regular meeting. So join me in voting down this postponement.
Madam President!
Ms. Staub.
I rise in disapproval of the postponement. This is a motion that needs action on now. Why would we waste time when we could be benefiting not only our chapter, but the community by just passing this motion here and now, instead of waiting on it until our next regularly scheduled meeting? I strongly urge you all join me in voting down this motion.
Madam President,
Ms. Tebow.
I personally do not find this motion beneficial. By having it at the next regularly scheduled meeting, it would only put more on our plate. By having it now, which we already know that it would be very unfair to some of our chapter members to have this motion passed, I believe that we should fail this here and now while we have all of the resources and information that is needed. I strongly urge a no vote.
Madam President,
Ms. Staub.
I move to refer this motion to a committee of 3 appointed by the chair with full power to act.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we refer this matter to a committee of 3 appointed by the chair with full power to act. Is there any discussion?
Madam President!
Ms. Staub.
This referral would be great for our chapter. As you all know, being on a committee can build great leadership skills. And as it says in the FFA Creed, I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. Being on a committee would be a great way for 3 of our chapter members to not only build the leadership skills within themselves that is necessary to come to a decision, but also gain the respect from the people in our chapter by making this decision for all of us. I strongly urge you all vote yes on the refer.
Madam President.
Miss Tebow.
I can't help but disagree with the last speaker. By having this referral, I was in a committee myself, and the other 2 members in it were very biased. It wasn't beneficial to the entire chapter to have them make a decision that affected all of us. So I strongly urge a no vote on this referral.
Madam President.
Mr. Decker.
I too am in strong disagreement with this referral. At our next regularly scheduled meeting, we have a lot of things that also need to be planned and that are on the agenda, so adding this committee report to that regular meeting would just make our meetings go over time and would have the members lose interest in that meeting. So this referral is unneeded. I urge a no vote.
Madam President.
Miss McCall.
I too agree with the previous speaker. By referring this to a committee of 3, it would only be 3 members out of the 7 we have here and now. We have the greatest minds here to do it now. So I strongly urge you all to vote down this refer.
Madam President.
Miss O'Brien.
I agree with the previous speaker. This is a motion that affects our whole chapter. Why should we give that power to just 3 individuals? It should be something that we decide on now because it will affect every single one of us. So I strongly urge you to vote down this motion.
Madam President.
Mr. Knudsen.
I rise in favor of this motion. If we were to refer this motion to a committee, they'd be able to contact with our advisors and our other students who are part of this FFA chapter and see what they want and see if they would rather have FFA jackets or not. So join me in voting for this referral.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote on the referral. All those in favor of referring this matter to a committee of 3 appointed by the chair with full power to act, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The motion fails. The question is now on the postponement. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote on the postponement. All those in favor of postponing this matter until the next regularly scheduled meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The motion fails. The question is now on the main motion. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote on the main motion. All those in favor of our chapter requiring that members wear FFA jackets at all regularly scheduled meetings, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
Division of the assembly has been called for. We will now proceed to a standing vote. All those in favor of our chapter requiring that members wear FFA jackets at all regular meetings, please rise. Be seated. All opposed, please rise. Be seated. The motion passes. Is there any further business? Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Madam President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn the meeting of the AAEC Australia Mountain FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this meeting adjourned.